Well, good morning. This is Coffee with Grant. I'm Grant. This is Coffee. That is Ruby Dog. Yeah, you started wagging your tail because you knew it was your intro. Yes. Come here. Do you want? Wiggle over here. Come here. I can't reach you. All right. Yeah, you're very sweet. Okay. Uh, to, Today I'm talking about pizza. I wanted to. Hold on. I wanted to talk about um, everyday stuff here for a while, for a long time, and not talk about politics or current events in the video blog. Partially because I like to research those, and this is a uh, uh, off the cuff, just top of my head sort of riff. And I don't think it's fair for a lot of the issues that we're experiencing today to do an off the top of my head riff because I'm gonna be wrong about some stuff. And research at least as much as you can in today's information environment is important. But we want to talk today about pizza. Pizza. Why talking about pizza, Grant? Why are we doing that? Well, I'm going to tell you. So there was a post here. So it's a poorly kept secret that I live here in Omaha, Nebraska. The city that most people forget about exists, which is fine. I'm okay with that. And recently on the Omaha subreddit, there was a local pizza place that came out and said, "You need to come. You need to help us. You need to help us by buying our pizza." And the community was like, "Interesting tact, okay." And their argument was that the construction, so Omaha is putting in a streetcar, and the streetcar has been a bit of I think it's long overdue. I could do a whole thing on public transport, on how public transport is the infrastructure that you need to go from a medium city to a big city. You cannot support a car infrastructure past a certain point. So this is a great thing that Omaha is doing with the streetcar. A lot of people think, especially people who have never ridden public transport before, think it is a big waste of money. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But this particular pizza place happens to be in a neighborhood that was recently under construction for the streetcar, to put the streetcar right down the middle of their street. So they had to tear the street up, they got to reinforce it, they got to put all the electrical infrastructure and stuff in, and the rails and the whole deal, and then put everything back. And they were like, "Oh my God, it's killing our business. Like, you guys, the public should just buy gift cards from us right now. Like, you should just come in and buy a gift card for like $50." And there are two things. One, the construction didn't make it to their business. And the internet was pretty quick to pull that up. Like, if you claim that you're, they'll be like, "Well, here's where the construction was stopped, and here's a picture of your street corner with no construction in front of it." So then they were like, "Well, oh no, we've been giving food away to the community because SNAP benefits are expired, and so we've been giving meals away to the community, and that's really hurt us as a business. So you guys should buy more pizzas from us." And again, the community was like, "Good for you, man. Like, oh, that's great." And then we checked their menu, and their menu is like $40 for an 18-inch pizza. Right? So it's like, okay, this is 12. That's a 12-inch pizza. 18 inches, about there. Okay? Which, like, $40 though. That's bold. That's a bold move pizza-wise. And it got me thinking about pizza as a uniqueness in the food market, in that there are certain restaurants where you can afford to have a bespoke, high-end product, right? You say, "Oh, it's farm to table. We had a specialty ingredients. We have this, etc." We give a higher level of atmosphere. This is not that kind of they're trying to be that kind of a place, but that's not how they are inside. And with pizza especially, there's very little difference between the product that you can order from Domino's and the product that you can walk into a store. Arguably, a lot of local pizza places would say, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're comparing." I'm not saying that they're on the same level. I'm saying they're close, right? For what you're ended up getting, they're close as compared to like what I could potentially cook at what the average cook could cook at home versus what you get in a Michelin star restaurant. Like there's a bigger shift in difference there. There's a bigger shift in the so like your competition with pizza. You're not just if I had, for example, we have a really um, just wonderful Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisine restaurant here in Omaha called Clio, and it is booked solid. The customer service is amazing. The prices are middle high. They're on the high end of middle, but they're reasonable. But the food is fantastic. Oh, and it's like every time I go there, I have had an amazing experience. I am incentivized to uh, show other people that restaurant, right? I'm like, we have to go there. You have to have the same food experience, et cetera, and so forth. And that is the niche that is keeping fine dining alive right now. They realize that this is not an everyday thing. You don't get home at the end of the day and go, oh, I'm too tired to cook. Let's go to Clio, right? That's not a thing. Like, oh, I need to feed the whole family. Let's get a to-go order of their hummus and pita platter, like, right? So, like, there's a certain amount of people who are like, oh, I want to go. I want to enjoy the environment. I want to have a glass of wine. I want to have a couple of beers. And it's going to be, like, for me, that's a treat. Every, like, maybe twice a year is where I get to go and, like, really have a nice meal with my wife on our anniversary and then on our other anniversary. It's a trick. Have 2 anniversaries. It's way more fun. But so let's compare that to pizza. So you're going, oh, we are going to be a haute cuisine, high-end ingredient pizza place. We're going to charge upwards of, I think their most expensive pizza was $42. So you're doing some math. You're like, okay, that's $42. That's not including like tax and tip. So already, if I just wanted to walk in the door, buy a pizza, and leave, I am looking closer to 50 something, 55. And that's a tough sell for pizza. It's gotta be like really, really good pizza. And it isn't. That's the other thing. Is that I went to this pizza place. I moved into this neighborhood. I went to this pizza place when I first moved in. I was trying all the local restaurants. I'm like, I gotta find where my new haunts are gonna be. And I went in, ordered a pizza. I was like, man, this better be damn good. And it took like 55 minutes to get that pizza. I was sitting in the restaurant. Like, I can see the pizza oven. And I don't know if they like heated it up just for me or what. But like, it took 55 minutes from ordering to get that pizza from their kitchen to my table. And I was one of 4 customers in that store. And during that time, my waitress acted like I was inconveniencing her by even being there. And I had to literally get up and go to the bar and be like, can I get a refill on my water? Because I guess no one's coming back. Yeah, that time. So when that type of restaurant comes out and says, you need to buy our pizzas, we've been inconvenienced by the construction, we're going under. I'm like, were you? Because like I had the opportunity to eat there multiple times and I could never justify the cost. Even trying to order out, they're the type of, and just to paint, there's so many different types of pizza. And I could go off of this, but like Domino's and your Domino's is a very consistent style of pizza. There are things about Domino's pizza I don't like. There are things about Domino's pizza I do like, but it's cheap and generally it's quick, and they've figured out the secret of making pizza, which we'll talk about. Same thing with Papa John's and even Little Caesars. Like, it's consistent. Like, you know what you're getting from there. Your Pizza Huts, and then you get into like your Chicago style deep dish pizzas. I will wait an hour and a half for a Chicago style deep dish pizza because I know what it takes to fucking make it. And I know what I'm expecting, and also I know that there's a non-zero chance that my heart is just going to give out in the process of eating it, and that might be my last meal. So I might as well savor it a little bit. Um, that's the that's the confronting death that Chicagoans do every day. But so that you've got your like big, huge, very flat, like Brooklyn style New York pizzas where you like and that's the other tough thing is like going to New York, buying a dollar slice off the street, and it's decent. It's $1. It's cheese pizza and it's $1, and you fold it and you eat it. It's $1, For $1, it's better than it should be. And then for $4, you can get a pretty damn good slice of pizza, but it's like a fucking slice of pizza, Like a rat could wrap up in it and go to sleep. And so this is not that kind of pizza. They're doing like a high temp fire, but a lot of it is, and I'm sure they've got, the owners probably, or the guys have got a great crust dough recipe that they've been going off with, whatever, I don't care. It's got those uneven, like big bubbles of crust in some places where I guess if you're a big crust fan, that's good, but it means that your toppings aren't even, and the rest of it is super, super thin. So at the end of the day, what you feel like you're getting is nothing. You feel like you're getting this really, really thin pizza, and you're staring at it and go, that is $42. That's insane. So especially when you can get a comparable product for a quarter of that. Like I can pay $9 for a Domino's pizza with a coupon and go walk in and pick it up and have a, topping, sauce, crust, etc. Again, not necessarily on the same level. The people who love pizza are going to roast me over the coals. But again, not that far removed from it. Like in the gradient of where pizza lies, it's not that different. And so you've got to think, like, how do you work what makes a pizza parlor function to your best advantage? And I think that this particular place is doing everything wrong. And I'm not going to name them because they're going to be out of business here soon, and who cares? But part of me goes, that's the restaurant life cycle of Omaha, is that, businesses are going to die. Good businesses are going to succeed. New businesses are going to come in restaurant-wise, and they're just going to keep cycling, and that's just how it is, maybe another pizza place will come in and set up shop in there and do it better than they did. But the answer is you have to do things in bulk. Your entire pizza model relies on volume. And that's something that Domino's figured out a long time ago, and that's something that Papa John figured out, as much of a shitheel as he is. But the idea is that you have a certain amount of like money that you can make per hour based on how fast you can make pizzas. And your initial investment per pizza is cents on the dollar. You think of the actual amount of pepperoni, the amount of food that's going on this pizza, like a stack of 12 pepperoni isn't that much. And you think, oh, well, we do a half a cup of sauce, a stack of pepperoni, like some cheese, stack of pepperoni. That's it. And so you're thinking your flour, yeast, water, salt, the basic ingredients that go into doughs, provided you know how to cook a yeasted dough. Where you go? Okay, whatever. Are relatively inexpensive compared to other fine dining ingredients. They cost almost nothing by comparison, right? Compared to if you're put a 32-ounce ribeye on your menu, right, especially right now, or do anything with seafood, anything where like a portions could go bad, like you can have 150 pounds of flour on hand for years and it's not going to go bad if you store it correctly. You can have this. So it's like, so if you build the setup to make enough dough where you anticipate how much you're going to need, you build all your ingredients and do all your prep in advance, which is very easy to do with a pizza place because you do that in the morning when no one's ordering pizza unless you break into the breakfast pizza market. And then the whole point of it is it's flat, it's thin, it cooks very quickly, so you should be able to knock a pizza into an oven and have it out in, I would say 10 minutes or less. Probably half that. I've never worked in a professional pizza kitchen, slinging dough, but I get the concept, right? It'd be kind of fun to go in there, but the point is that it cooks quickly. So the idea is if you have everything ready to go and you have your assembly line, or you do something like Domino's does, where they said, well, what if we got rid of the whole pizza peel portion of this? And oh, there's somebody who's making the pizzas, and if they're flipping around to check to see if they're done, and then they check it, they pull it out, and they can put, that's lost time. What if we just had a big conveyor belt and you just slapped a uncooked pizza on it, and we know that for that size of pizza, it goes through and it cooks. By the time it gets to the end of the conveyor belt, it's cooked, and then we just slide it out on a counter, cut it, throw it in a box, and we can get a pizza in and out like in 2.5 minutes or something, or whatever it is. Then they're doing the math to go, okay, so if we charge $15 a pizza, it costs us $1 to make them in ingredients or less, and then we churn that out, we could potentially have a maximum amount of income of this amount of money. So for Pizza Place, the reason pizza, long before there was a DoorDash, long before there was the Uber Eats, pizza and Chinese food were always delivery options. Even your local pizza places had delivery options. And why is that? Is because your business is based on volume. And so you want to fill in that extra kitchen time where if your dining room's full, you are now at a set amount of income that you can make. You have to wait until people, your bottleneck isn't how fast you can make pizzas. It's not even how fast people you can wring them out. It's how fast people eat pizza and want to leave and get up from their table. And there is a set amount. Unless somebody's popping in for lunch, they're going to sit and they're going to visit and they're going to have a couple of beers, hopefully. And, it's that sort of thing. So you put delivery options in there so that you can have extra income during your peak times, and you process all those orders. And this is a tale as old as pizza restaurants ever. Right? That's just how it works. And so this particular restaurant also doesn't have a delivery option and doesn't do, so if I wanted a pizza to go from them, I'd have to order it carry out, and then I would have to go and find a place to park. And they happen to be in one of these little bespoke neighborhoods. It's Blackstone, which is up and coming in Omaha, which is full of fun little bars and restaurants and like boutique stores and stuff. I'm really, really pleased with how Omaha has developed over the last 15 years. Our Benson and Blackstone districts have really come along, and there's a lot of restaurants to recommend. This just happens to be one of those things where also there isn't a reserved parking spot to pick things up, and it's kind of a pain in the ass location. So it's like, at the heart of it, it's like not an ideal place to run a pizza place out of if you wanted both easy pickup traffic and sit down dining. And so they decided they're going to try to be a sit down dining place, but still only serve pizza as their primary offering. And that is not working, obviously. And I think it'd be fun to run a pizza place for a second. I think I'd get really burnt out really quickly, but I think it'd be fun to do the math, see if I could do the math correctly and see if I could get it to work, in that you can thread the needle in homemade dough with a decent recipe with that good bread flavoring in it, with locally sourced ingredients and in bulk at a price point that lets you do everything. And I know that this is possible because we have 24 other local pizza places in town that do it well, and they develop a local following. And because that's the thing, you also have to have it be more convenient than going somewhere else for fast food. Because if you're doing that, your big market for pizza, sometimes you're just in the mood for pizza, but your big market for pizza is events, and I don't feel like cooking. And when you're in the I don't feel like cooking phase, rarely is one person ordering an entire pizza for themselves. As in, I mean, I'll do it, but that's me. But I think the idea is the family needs fed. Well, if the family needs fed, you want a pizza where you're not going to get it and you're going to go, oh, that is very thin. I have almost no sauce on it. The toppings are few and far between, and I've got a huge bubble where one slice is mostly crust, and I paid $40 for that, and I paid it either a third party service to go wait and pick it up and deliver it for me, or I had to go fight this neighborhood to pick it up and then come back. And none of those are good business model things. So, and then they're trying to solve it by just being like, oh, we're a local business, you should save us. It's okay, good luck with that. And not only you should save us, but you should buy gift cards. The gift cards things kills me, because it's also kind of implying that they don't have, they're like, oh no, don't order pizza, like we couldn't make you pizza if you wanted it, but we need the money up front, so eventually maybe we'll have pizza, but we also could go under at any moment and there could be this huge surge in gift cards, and then we're just going to close our doors and take all your money, ha 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 ha. Which businesses have done. They'd be like, please save us by buying a gift card, and then they take, 10, 20 grand in gift card sales and just run with it. Honestly, in this case, I am looking forward to whoever takes their building over and turns it into something else, because there's a lot of potential there, just not for the business that they are insistent on running, which is kind of frustrating. Yeah, so that's 20 minutes in. Pizza. Now it's the morning and I'm hungry now. That's crazy. I also think I had this kind of fun idea for like a short story, which was a pizza place where you run the Rebel Underground out of it. And I think that would be really an interesting thought experiment to work it out, because if you think about it, a lot of times you need to communicate in code and communicate in a code language that not everybody else knows, right? So you need a code that can pass, I forget the terms for them right now. There's a term for the a code that passes like in front of people's eyes and they don't notice it, or the code that they know, like they know it's encoded and they don't have the key, or they don't know that it's coded and they just don't notice it. And I think that like having like a convoluted menu of specials, and you're like, who would order the special, and why does it have broccoli and this and anchovies and something else on it, and the combination of weird shit that's on the special could be like the ingredients, and the order which they're listed could be some sort of code that means, oh, the meeting is taking place at this time at this place. You could also have people order in, ask for the special, and say, hey, what's on the special? Say a code phrase like, you've got to be kidding me, or like, oh no, maybe I'll get the next one. And then they write something on the inside of your pizza box, because they know that, oh, you're somebody who's actually asking for information, so they make you a pizza, and then they deliver it, and you'd have an in-house delivery guy, and now you've got an in-house delivery guy who's got an excuse to go door to door in the community, pretty innocuous, unnoticed, and then also have like money change hands, So it depends on what you're ordering, but I feel like that could be a really good smuggling, like underground sales business thing, where you're ordering things that aren't necessarily on the menu that you might need, contraband, if you will, or you're organizing information or coordinating things, or just doing a check-in. Like if you wanted to check in on somebody and see how they're doing, you would order them a pizza and you'd send your delivery guy out to be like, hey, such and such bought you a pizza. All of that is completely socially acceptable foot traffic, where no one would bat an eyelash seeing a guy walk up to somebody else's house carrying a pizza box. You immediately go, oh, yeah. The thing is, you have to be mobile. You can't just like sit anywhere all the time. But if you're imagining like a pizza parlor where you have that sort of community engagement, that would be very, very doable. It's kind of a fun idea to think about, You got to think about these fun ideas sometimes. Yeah. I could do like an entire week on secret codes. That would be fun. And all the different ways that you can hide information and retrieve information. I just saw I'm blanking on people's names this morning. But I just saw a video of a gentleman who coded a what's his name? Ben Jordan. Ben Jordan's a fantastic YouTuber. He's a fascinating human being. And I just saw this video that he did a while ago where he encoded the sound code for a picture file into a bird. So he took like a mockingbird or something that repeats sound back, and he like broadcast this sound into it, and it got it so enough that it could repeat it note for note, and then that like a month later could be retrieved from the bird in the forest. And so you can store information in birds in the forest. And I was like, oh, this guy's on another level. I wasn't even thinking about storing information in birds in the forest. And that's a fun thing to think about. That is a very much it might be fun to do a video about if this is true, then what else is true, which is, like A to C thinking, which we do in improv. But if this is true, what else is true is a really fun mental exercise to do for writing as well as improv. We do that to say, we did one exercise where we were just coming up with a premise, and the premise was that all money is breakfast food. So instead of currency, you pay for things with breakfast food. And then you're like, what? And it became every little scene was about how you ate the quarterly profits, and then it became this thing. Okay, so if this is true, what else is true? Like, what do bank robberies look like if all money is some type of breakfast food, and if you have the ability to eat your paycheck, and that sort of thing. So this is kind of the thing. Like, if storing information in birds is true, what else is true, and what could you do with that in a storytelling sense? So until next time, let's everybody be kind to each other. Have a good day. I'm gonna, I think, order a pizza for lunch. That sounds good. Yeah. See ya.